I'm coming in hot.
Callum kicking us off with an intro in 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, that fly is doing my head in, bro.
Jeez Louise. Rizz has spent the last 5 minutes trying to catch a fly. I think that's our call to start the show. So we are here for recap episode 3. It's good to be back.
Episode 3, we're on. Yep.
Let's go. So what have we been up to over the weekend, mate?
G'day. Yes, team. We have had a busy weekend. We've been doing what we do best, what we really enjoy doing, filming a bit of CrossFit content. We headed up to Auckland, the Big Smoke, and filmed a CrossFit comp. Callum, tell the people more.
Yeah, so it was a comp called Discipline Games. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know too much about it before going up there. So we were kind of going up with no idea on the people running the comp, any idea of the community that was there, but all we'd seen in the past was these amazing photos in this. It almost looked like an aircraft hangar, but it turned out to be a tennis arena, I'd call it. And wow, it was probably the best we've ever been treated at a competition in terms of hospitality. The owner Deech, who runs the comp, was absolutely lovely. Get that fly.
Yeah, he was lovely. Yep,
super lovely.
Yep.
And it was cool because every time we go to these comps, it's a whole new community that we're meeting. You lose sight of how much CrossFit actually still is growing within New Zealand and the different sub-communities within the sport just in New Zealand. So it's really, really exciting for us to go out there and showcase a completely different competition, a completely different format. All the workouts were 7 minutes long, which is a little different to what we're used to.
Good weekend. Going back to the same points that you said, the tennis arena was epic. Like, there were a few workouts here. So the way the comp worked, Saturday was individuals, Sunday was teams. So it was a busy weekend. The indoor, like, that tennis setup was just like epic. Like, whenever they were on the rig, whenever on the machines.
What about the crowd noise?
It just was so loud, and it was epic. Like, everyone was just cheering, and it was beats were good. It was just epic. And then they had a really nice outdoor setup right next door, so it works so well. Teams were great, classic teams comp with good vibes. Some people in it just for a bit of a laugh and a bit of fun. So and others really pushing it. Saw some of the New Zealand big names cruising out there, and lots of people who were just out there for their first comp. So it was good. It just reminds me, like you said, how many flipping CrossFit gyms there are in Auckland. Like, big shout out to the Auckland community. You're doing epic things, and it was awesome to catch up with a lot of you. So yeah, let's move on from our weekend. Let's move into the business end, the final part of the first chunk of the Open. Let's take a look.
You headed out to Selwyn by yourself.
Oh yeah,
got a little bit of content. How were the boys?
Lads were good. So Luke's got into this workout. It was Friday morning, so it had just been announced. He was fizzing. Well, I won't say too much, but we'll cut to the footage. Ben, however, had a bit of a snivels. He wasn't feeling too well. It had a bit of dust, a dust kind of affecting him in the 24 hours. So he didn't hit it that morning.
Seriously?
But
dust affecting him in the morning.
Yeah, I've got sinus issues sometimes too, so I can.
Okay. Didn't know that was a thing.
But yeah, let's cut to the footage.
No. So we moved house yesterday, and because Timmy has never done the housework in his life, even though he's meant to. Timmy gets paid to do the housework, but he doesn't do it. So all the dust got all up in my grill, and I've been sick. Not sick. I've had allergies ever since. So I'm taking it easy. I'll do it tonight.
Okay, initial thoughts on the workout then?
I like it. It's probably one of my favourite open. I mean, not necessarily the one I think I'll do the best in. I think I'll do well in it, but I think it's one of the most enjoyable ones. If I wanted to repeat any, just for fun, not for a better score, it would probably be one like this. I think it's a good challenge to see if you can go unbroken. I think toe to bar, chest to bar won't be much of an issue. It will be when you get to the muscle ups, and I think the only people that are going to be doing the muscle ups in unbroken or in sets, like 2 sets, will be people that either slow down at the start or can comfortably do 30 unbroken. Off the course.
Any day, yeah.
We did a complex very early in the week, very similar to this one, except we did, what did we do? I think it was squat clean, hang squat clean, front squat, and a jerk.
Oh yeah?
So very similar.
I put up.
We were only meant to go around 80%, but Johan thinks he's big, so he put on 125. I clocked that out of the park, so anything more than that, I'm probably hoping anything above 135 maybe, or around 130. You say that now, but it's like no one really hit. I didn't think the Pancheks hit the numbers they wanted to hit after the thing. Like, it looked disgusting.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
maybe not. We'll
All the best with the allergies, and hope you get better soon.
All right, I'm doing it tonight. All right.
Mid warm up, but what are your thoughts on the workout? How you feeling?
Looks super fun.
Yeah.
It's probably, if I had to pick something, it would be very similar to that.
Yeah.
So it looks like heaps of fun. So hopefully I can do good. But yeah, not too worried about it.
Honestly, I don't know who the fuck to trust. Is he my friend or my foe? I'm off the exit, draw. Yeah, she give me that maybe as well. I remember back when I was younger, I was happy. Nowadays feel like no one understand me. I'm with that artist, still young dog, baby. Baby's yellow, text. She wanna give me like candy.
Probably should have broken up the chest bars and toast bar. So I went unbroken on them, but by the time I got to the muscle ups, it's kind of
Honestly, I don't know who the fuck to trust. Is he my friend or my foe? I'm off the exit, draw. Yeah, she give me that maybe as well. I remember back when I was younger, I was happy. Nowadays feel like no one understand me. I'm with that artist, still young dog, baby. Baby's yellow, text. She wanna give me like candy. Running through rags, track.
kind of burnt out a little bit on the grip. So I got out of set, I think 15 at the start of muscle ups, but quickly became a 7, then 2 more sets or something to finish. So maybe if I broke up the toast bar and chest bars, just like a 20 and 10, I might have been able to do 3 sets on muscle ups and save me a bit more time on the back end.
Yeah.
And yeah, for the lifting as well, my legs and stuff were fine, just how my hands just so grippy. Not so much the clean, but hand clean. When I went back down and then trying to slide down and get up, I just had nothing in my grip, so I could hardly hold on to it. So yeah, maybe if I do it again, I probably will, because I wasn't happy with what I lifted, and the workout's fun anyway, so that's fine. But if I do it again, I'll break them up from the start, the gymnastic stuff, just to save my grip for the lifting. Yeah, that's about it.
Good job.
Wow, Rizz, it's good to see you doing a little bit of work doing that there, mate. That was bloody good to watch. Now,
Thanks,
I know Lukey put up a rather impressive score that morning, but tell me a little bit more with what went on.
Yeah, well, he just kind of had a bit of a game plan going into it, which I guess he briefly chats about in the video, but then finished it and just knew he could do better immediately.
So what did he get first time round?
Good question.
10:23, I think, on the workout.
Can't remember off the top of my head.
I think he went for a 125 clean and jerk and missed it, didn't he?
Yeah, I was, full story, full daydreaming. So I was taking photos and videos. I had 2 cameras set up, and when he set up this epic Star Wars track for his lifts. Like
that's right.
That's his one track that he loves to pump when he's hitting PRs. So they were blasting it. And everyone was kind of just doing their own thing that was in the gym. It was like very casual. And he was doing some lifts, and I was like, oh, cool, he's warming up. Like, that's nice. Not thinking these were the lifts that he was hitting. For some reason, I thought there was a bit of a gap between the workouts because they'd just been announced like an hour before. And then I had my video camera waiting for the final lift, never hit record, took a few photos, which you'll see now, sure, right there over the screen. And then he starts rolling his plates over to the corner, and I was like, weird. Like maybe he's setting up with another bar. Oh, what's going on? So I went over to him. I was like, yeah, what's going on? And so it turned out I pretty much watched him do the whole part and didn't film it at all. But he had
good
it
job
again.
shooting it by yourself, mate. You did a reasonably good job.
Thanks. But he hit it again. Callum.
Yeah. So what he rested for 3-4 hours and thought that wasn't good enough, and I'm going to repeat this. And he goes and puts up one of the best scores in the Pacific region with I think he did a 9:20, which is ridiculous in the muscle up workout after doing it that morning. And then he put up 125, 130 in the clean and jerk complex, which is insane considering he had to go at it that morning. So seriously impressive. And I'm going to pull back my comment on redoing the workout with how impressive that was. Good work, Lukey. Bloody good work, mate.
Yeah, so looking here, I'm just actually scanning the leaderboard as we speak, clicking through. Yeah, he had an 820. Oh, wait, yeah. He had an 820, and then the weight...
820. Okay, take a minute off what I said. Holy moly.
820, and then the weight lifted was 294 pounds. Callum, quick conversion.
136 is 300, so it'll be 132 and a half-ish, 133. I imagine he got the little change plates out.
It is 133.3. Cal,
Yeah,
you've still
baby.
got it.
I'm dyslexic, but I know how to count.
So yeah, super impressive effort from him. And then Ben sneaks in there as well on the leaderboard. Just look, I'm clicking through.
And what
jeepers.
a leaderboard. Like, Luke Fowler sitting in 5th place if this was regionals a couple of years back, that's a ticket to the games with how it's currently sitting. I mean, it's obviously a different setting with the openly accessible stage 1 workouts, but I think it's a good indication of how far these boys are coming. We've got Luke in 5th, and we've got Benny Fowler in 11th in the Pacific region.
Let's dive deeper into this leaderboard a little bit. Let's kick into it. For the men, we're going to kick off with the Oceania leaderboard. At the top, Jay,
mate, you are absolutely killing it.
Big shout out to Jay. He's a fan of the show. Big shout out to you, Jay. Loving your work there. He's kicked off the top spot. He just pipped Khan there. Khan had uploaded his scores earlier today, and I thought, oh, geez, here he goes. He's on the top, but he just got pipped by Jay, and then Beto in 3rd. Then Luke Fiso sneaking in there 4th.
And that's a good one because I think week 1 we were saying very cheeky. He's done it. He's sitting in 50th.
Yeah.
Don't forget about him. And comes away with a 4th place. I think that's years of experience, and it just shows he still can kill a workout. He always murmurs to us that, this is going to be my last year. I'm going to be looking at retiring, but I think he's still got plenty in the bag from the look of the leaderboard, and I'm super, super excited to see him come through in the quarterfinals.
Totally awesome to see. Other notable mentions, Maddie McLeod. I haven't heard much from Maddie McLeod lately, but then he's in 5th spot there.
Our boy Evan Morris. Good to see you climbing back up the leaderboard, baby. I think that the heavier bar coming into play is good for you, isn't it, mate?
Yeah. And besides that, lots of names that we would expect, and a few that we haven't heard before, but only time will tell in the coming stages, I guess.
You know,
any other mentions there?
What I'm looking at right here is Stevie, 22nd place.
Yeah, your man crush,
Stevie boy. Yeah, and then we've got just a couple of spots underneath him in 26th. Mr. Young Jack Laker. He self-proclaimed 83 kilos, and you look at him and you wouldn't think anything of it, but you pull those pants up. He's got a pair of quads on him, so he's doing well. He's doing rather well in this workout.
Yeah. It sounds pretty random, but Callum did pull his pants up a few days ago when we were in Auckland, and he saw the quads, and he was impressed. So
shout out for the free accommodation as well, mate. Really appreciate it. Yeah,
actually, we haven't said thanks for that. Jack Laker, big shout out to you. Great accom in Auckland if you're ever looking out for it. I'll give you a 5 stars if that's how you rate on Airbnb. Also, fun fact about Jake, Jack, fun fact, he loves a bacon and egg bagel every morning for breakfast.
Do you think that's from watching Matt Fraser eating bagels and bacon all the time?
No.
I bet you it is. I bet you it is. Because who has a bagel in the morning?
I know. Oh, I would like one.
I'd like one, but when's the last time you had a bagel in the morning?
Never. So, I was impressed by that. Big shout out to you, Jack.
Let's go across to the female leaderboard and have a bit of a look.
Beautiful.
And I think the two notable mentions here is Tekla Toomey, obviously, but the one that's really, really impressed me is Cara Saunders, formerly known as Cara Webb, and she's currently 3rd in the world, 2nd in Oceania, and she is right back on the comeback. And I've just got this little feeling that she's going to be podiuming at the games this year, and I think this is an early indication of how well she's going to do. What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I haven't really thought too much about it, to be honest, but I'm just more blown away by Tia. Like, looking at those results.
Holy moly. 7:37.
Exactly.
Where do you rest in a 7:37 with that amount of volume?
I just want to see the video, and it may be live on YouTube somewhere, so I really want to check that out.
Yeah, hopefully we can put that in here. Holy moly.
But yeah, super impressed by her. And then awesome to see some of the Kiwis sneaking in there. We've got Madeline Shelling. Big shout out to Mads.
Is a statement from those two girls, Madeline and Marnie Sykes, 3rd and 5th, and going in a team. I think it's going to be really, really hard for there to be any teams in the Pacific beating them. I know in the team leaderboard that we've got Reebok Frankston sitting above them, but I've got a feeling that a lot of those athletes are going to be going individual, so those scores aren't really going to mean anything in the quarterfinal section.
Okay. We do have, before we mention too much about Ellie Turner, she's in 4th spot, and Madeline Sturt in 6th. Big shout out to Madeline.
Yeah, I think the rest of them are all kind of names that we expect to be up there or have climbed back up, and it's pretty impressive. I think the one name that's really sticking out, we mentioned her in week 1, is Amanda McKay. She's it wasn't a one-hit wonder. She's sticking around, and she's up in the top 15. She's in 14th place, which is very, very impressive, especially considering some of the athletes that she's beating out. She's got Harriet Roberts behind her, who's won sanctionals, gone to the game. She's got Althea Boone behind her, who's been to multiple games. And yeah, it's really, really impressive. And it's what I'm really liking here is the mix of New Zealand and Australian girls. It's a bit of a statement, and I think it's going to be a real shame if the Torian Pro goes ahead with quarantine and these athletes can't compete. Like I think they need to be thinking about a plan B and having something local for these athletes to actually showcase how good they are. Because imagine one of these Kiwis missing out on a game spot and how much weaker the competition's going to be if you take half that top 30 away.
Totally. I'm just doing some quick calculations here. 7, 8 out of the top 20 are Kiwis.
Yeah, so
geez, that's pretty good.
Nearly 50% of the leaderboard. I think that's a bit of a statement.
Might not be able to make it across, which is a right shame. Callum, what do we have next?
So Rizz caught up with Ellie Turner during the week to have a bit of a chat, see what she's up to, and to go over those F45 rumours that I was talking about.
How you been? How you feeling? What's going on?
Yeah, been pretty good. Obviously the Open is a little bit of a stressful time, but been pretty good. Training's going well, and it's nice to finally have something to look forward to, a bit of a season.
Nice. And in terms of the workouts, like, have you gone for a one and done? Have you stressed about them? Are they right in your wheelhouse, or like how have you found the workouts in the Open so far?
It's been a bit up and down. I sort of went in, I didn't really know where I was going to be sitting, just because, haven't competed in so long. And so I was just going in with like wanting to see sort of where I was at, what things I needed to continue working on, or like that I had improved, things like that. But I went in thinking, just being the top 10%, I was like, oh, I'll just do like one and done. And I'm usually always like that. After some like discussions with my coach, Michelle, we decided to use this as a bit of a like learning opportunity and practicing redoing workouts and changing strategies just to see what works best for me. I know for competitions.
Love that attitude though. It's like, hey, look, let's hit the workout, see how it feels, the body, and then let's build a bit of a strategy to kind of attack it again and see how you can like improve. So cool. So generally with those like strategies, is it a little rep scheme tweak, or is it technique, or what are you been like tweaking?
I usually I'll go in thinking that I'm just doing it once and give it my all in that one shot and see like this is the tech or like the strategy that I would usually use in a competition if I just had to go and get it done. And then I'll send the video off to my coach, and she sort of looks at it and goes, like you can make up a bit of time here, and you need to do such and such to get a little bit of time later on. So she usually tells me things to change or like try out, and then just try and implement that.
Cool, nice. Let's cover the elephant in the room, the F45 scandal that was dropped on the bloody recap show last week. We mentioned your name, we mentioned your performance, epic performance, 29.2, and then Callum mentioned F45. Let's clarify what went down. So
okay,
go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people didn't think that I had gotten fit from doing, or like had gotten to the stage I am now just from doing F45. No, I actually was competing in a pairs CrossFit competition, and at the same time there was the F45 playoffs happening at the same venue, and I knew that the prize money for that was $7,500. So I was like, well, I'm over here competing in CrossFit for like $100 voucher, or I can get attempt to get $7,500. So in my CrossFit breaks, I would, you had to do like a trial to start with. So I would go over and do F45, and ended up winning, beating like the state champion or like the Australian champion. Took home $7,500. So it was quite nice.
How good did that?
Yeah, but that was literally the like only time I'd ever tried it, and the only time I have since. So definitely not from an F45 background.
Love it. Clear the air. Did that prize pool lure you and make you think, geez, I should really give this F45 a crack? And that kind of brings me to my next question, like why CrossFit and how did that all start?
It did. It is very enticing, but I also thought I probably wouldn't have won if I wasn't a CrossFitter, just because as I had to do it like quite a few times, and as I went on, I sort of got better scores, whereas everyone else was dropping off. And I think it was just like CrossFit had taught me how to like go into the pain cave and like stay there for multiple rounds, whereas everyone else was like, dropping off. So as much as like the prize money's probably a bit better, I definitely gonna stick out CrossFit. But I got into CrossFit. I sort of stumbled upon it. I've always been pretty active, like netball, basketball, just like general sporting background.
Sports. Yep.
Yeah. And tried CrossFit in the middle of 2017. And I didn't love it at first, to be honest. I was used to sort of like working out at a regular gym and like just doing lots in a like supersetting everything and like, just doing lots. And then I went to my CrossFit class and I was like, what? We're just doing like an 8-minute AMRAP and some like push up. And I'm like, what is this? But no, I ended up coming back probably like a month later, giving it another go. And from there, like just my competitive nature kicked off and loved it.
Sorry, Ellie. I got that completely wrong. Turns out it was a bit of a gangster story, turning up and winning 7,500 AUD. I wouldn't mind that. Would you, Rizz?
Totally.
So coming out of the Open, Rizz, what are your post-Open thoughts, and what's your mentality sitting like at the moment after doing your first Open?
Ooh, I thought you meant in terms of just these athletes, but you're talking about me and my own personal journey with CrossFit. Love the experience. Been in the CrossFit game in and out for quite a while. First Open. I just always put it off, and I always followed along at home, didn't have one piece of equipment, or I was worried that it was going to be muscle-ups. So I thought it was no point. Back when you're a student, it's like, why pay for a comp where you can't actually do it all? But ended up doing, I should have done every workout RX, but that first one, I decided to go scaled because I said I'd go scaled all the way through. Learned a bunch.
He's a little, I'm going to pull the limelight off him here a little bit. He was a little bit gutted about not doing the workouts as RX, because what he's done is he's done really, really well in one of the scaled workouts and performed quite well and placed reasonably well, got a lot of reps. And then he goes and checks the leaderboard, and he's got a couple of people that have done one RX workout that are sitting a million miles ahead of him on the leaderboard, and he's just gutted about it.
They've done a couple of wall walks. They've done a few double unders, which I enjoy. And I'm like, I wish I'd been able to do that. But lesson learned, people. If in doubt, if you think you can do the workout RX, do it RX. I haven't given my quick spiel about 21.3 and 4, but really quick summary. Never done toes to bar pretty much. And actually never done toes to bar in a workout or chest to bars. Did them both. Managed to get through 15 chest to bars, but I was trying to be a bit conservative. A, I didn't want to do more thrusters. And B, I was wanting to try and lift something in the second half.
To be perfectly fair, you haven't touched a barbell in 9-10 months.
No.
So
5 or 6. Yeah.
Okay,
Not too long.
Push it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, what did it feel like when you picked up that complex? Were you
great, loved it. But the first few lifts, just warming up, I was like, oh god, like how the hell is this gonna go? And then let alone, so I ended up throwing around about 80, 83, warming up, and I was like, cool, I'll either find this really hard after the workout or it'll be sweet. And so that was my opening lift, went really well, and then just tried to jump too big too early, just slapped on another 10 kgs. And went for the jerk, missed it. I'm getting way too in depth in my full breakdown here. Yeah, missed the jerk, and then I was like, I'm going to drop down a little bit because I tried to jump too high, but everyone in the gym said, no, like you've got that weight. And I was like, but if I miss it again at the end, I'm losing like 10 kgs, which could, whatever. So sure enough, I waited, took my rest, went to hit it, and then bounced in the hang clean and just pop. It just slipped out of my hands.
Keep that hook grip, people. Keep that hook grip.
Got lazy with my hook grip. Yeah. Long story short, lessons learned. But the big takeaway really for me and that I wanted to share with everyone is that if you have gone through the Open, you've enjoyed yourself, what are the takeaways that you, like for me, it's like, hey, gymnastics, do I work on it? Never. So am I going to improve in the next year? No. So I'm like, how do I set something up, whether it be a few sessions a week, where I'm consistently working on these goals so that I can progress? We had a chat about in the weekend at the comp, there are some athletes there that you spotted that you're like, wait a minute, they were intermediate 3 or 4 years ago. they're still intermediate. And I'm like, oh, interesting. What's holding them back from making that next jump? And for some people, they might be like, well, I don't care. I'm happy to just chill at that level. But for others, maybe they're not putting in the work on their weaknesses.
Well, I mean, like we did before, we actually sat down and we did what I did a couple of years ago. I competed in Nationals Intermediate, and I thought, right, this is awesome. My goal now is to be in that top 16 at RX. That was kind of like the absolute mecca. Like I thought, wow, maybe it's something I can do in the next 2-3 years.
Yep.
And I literally just wrote down a list of movements, the sets that I'd have to be doing unbroken to be competitive within it, and the weights that I'd need to be lifting in specific movements. And we've gone and done that for Rizz now, and we're setting a little bit of accountability, and we're thinking, because a challenge that we're trying to set to ourselves is how can we deliver different content, showcase a whole lot of different variations of what we can put out there. And we think, let's line up a couple of comps during the year where we can go, Rizz can do intermediate, I can do RX, and we can film back and forth, get the content, and also just throw ourselves in the deep end and get a bit of an accountability in our trainings. I think we've been kind of slacking along, just enjoying it, and it'd be good just to put a little bit more intensity into it, and throw yourself in the deep end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if you're a comp and you'd love to have us there and you think
we don't want to pay a
few
rego
workouts that will be right up my alley, please get in touch with us. But I think it'll just be a bit of fun and just like you say, something on it's the same with my endurance stuff I'm working on. It's like you book the date, you pay for the registration, and then you're away.
That's what everyone's been saying. They say, oh, have you booked your tickets? And that's like it's one small step, but that could be the difference between you performing really, really well and not. Like booking that thing 3 months in advance, having that prep time properly done. Cool, moving right along. So there's a little bit of an unspoken rule in our household. I am not allowed to interview Marnie or talk alongside Marnie. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring Marnie Sykes in, currently 5th in the Pacific region after CrossFit Open Stage 1, and Rizz is going to have a wee interview with her.
And we are back here in the studio. Now, this time we were here with Marnie. Marnie, kia ora, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Nice to be here.
Firstly, your first section of the Open is done and dusted. Talk me through it, just roughly. How was it? How did you find those 4 workouts?
Yeah, no, they all went pretty well. This is so weird having these efforts. So I went into the Open just wanting to do one and done, basically. And so I did it for the first workout, which is the handstand one, and got a pretty average score. I heard that there was this new technique of doing it. So it was real tempting to repeat that one, but I was like, no, I'll just stick with my only score.
Nice.
And then basically the next one was just like, all or nothing kind of one. So you knew you were going to just do that one once. And then, the third one and fourth one got a pretty good score. And when it came to the lifting, it felt really good. I think I ended up doing 91. But I really wanted to repeat that one, especially because I'm on a squatting program and I just wanted to see how much I could lift under the open pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up doing that one again and PB'd my double clean.
Nice.
Nice. It went really well. Yeah, I'm happy.
Cool. And in terms of timeframes between now and moving on to the next stage of competition, do you know off the top of your head? I don't even know. When is that? Is it a few weeks away before you kick off?
So we get a week off.
We should probably know. Oh, yep.
And I think it's the next Thursday to the Tuesday. Oh, God, I don't know. But you've got a couple of days anyways.
Easy. Okay, so really, end of the day, what are your goals with CrossFit
Get to the freaking games. Oh my God. It's taking me a while. To get to the games would be an awesome goal, but not only qualify for the games, but do well and compete at the games.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of the Crispy Dudes, all the best for you and the team. I hope it goes well. Hope you get to the game spot, and we'll be cheering for you, mate. All the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sweet. Yeah, Cal, come on in back. Sweet. So.
How was your chat with Marnes?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Always good to hear from Marnie, and she seems pretty fizzed up for the season. Obviously, she's doing the right things, sitting in the right spots, so it's really going to be until that kind of final stages where it's like you're on the line, potentially at Torian. It's like, sure, they can tick the boxes now, but it's really going to it's
I
going
think
to be exciting once they get to crunch time.
The big thing for her has been she's really struggled with it, competing as an individual. She puts a lot of stress on herself, and she comes away from these weekends not actually enjoying herself. So this team dynamic has really changed the pressures, and she's actually really enjoying training again. And she's got a phenomenal team, which is great too. So yeah, excited. I'm really, really excited personally, obviously, because I'm heavily invested in it to see how she goes this year.
Yeah. Love it. One thing here on the schedule to chat about is a content camp / getaway. Callum, what is this about?
Yeah, so we've been brainstorming probably the last couple of weeks, and one thing that Gillies tried to do at Nationals was a team dinner on... Well, he didn't try to. He did do it, and it was great. He did a team dinner on the... individual dinner, where all the RX athletes met up on the Friday night, the day before the competition, and everyone sat down. He kind of walked through how it was going to be different for the year. But the main rationale behind him doing that was to try getting these guys to come together and actually hang out and try to be friends.
Yep.
And I personally find it so weird because a lot of these top athletes are training for 2-3 hours a day. They have the same hobbies, they eat the same food, but they're not actually that friendly with each other. It's really, really chit-chatty. It's, hey ho, how are you? How's the last comp? But I think what we want to do is we want to take it a step further, and we want to give these New Zealand athletes some phenomenal content, and we also want to build some friendships, some longer term friendships with these guys. And yeah.
Yeah, I see here in the notes that, like, I guess the when it all boils down to it, like you say, it's getting a bunch of athletes together to have a blast, smash out some workouts, kind of just like enjoy each other's company a little bit, have some good food, maybe a little bit of drink, and then also just get a bunch of content as well. You know, you want the socials looking crispy.
We're thinking there could be a bloody cool vlog if we go to somewhere like Queenstown. Kyle, would you like to host us at the CrossFit Remarkables?
Let's go.
And we just keep it simple. Keep 8 athletes, the 2 of us. We do a whole lot of activities outside. We'll try to get sponsored because we're videographers and we can get you jumping off the bridge for free. AJ Hackett, where you at? And I think it'd just be cool. Go out, have a couple of drinks, enjoy the Saturday night, do a couple of workouts across the weekend, build some new friendships or foster ones that are a little bit deeper, and get some stills, get some video and a bit of content, and maybe we can get a couple of brands on board with us to get them kitted out or help with the trip.
Totally. If you're interested, slide into our DMs at Crispy Dudes on Instagram, and have a chat to us because we just we've got loads of athletes that we have a chat with all the time in the DMs, and so it'd just be cool to see if people are like, hey, that sounds cool, or if you're like, no thank you. And
kind of wrapping things up, what are your assumptions for the quarterfinals? What are they going to kind of look like? What are you thinking in 2 weeks' time when the Indies go out for the first set of quarterfinals?
Yeah, I did ask Marnie in the interview when that was going to be, and because I had no idea.
Yeah.
I've just been focusing so much on this first phase, and I'm kind of unsure. Obviously, they will ramp up the weight, they'll ramp up the skill level required, they'll ramp up all of those things, and it'll be a different story. Like, there'll be a lot of people who do well, and you hear this, they do well in the open in that first phase.
Classic.
Yeah, and then it comes to the crunch time, and actually they redid every workout 4 times, or whatever it may be.
And I personally think this is Dave's last kind of touch before the athletes come back to them in the CrossFit Games, because the semi-final events are going to be programmed by the specific semi-final events, and I think it's going to be done in a way where the workouts are going to be really hard to repeat. So I think it's going to be a running clock. I think it's going to be maybe a 2-3-parter of a 1 hour running clock. And it's going to be 2 or 3 workouts across that 1 hour running clock. So the athletes are forced to go at it once and really, really hard to get a repeat in there if they've got 2 or 3 1 hour blocks. That's kind of my assumptions. And the movements that are coming into play and the equipment list is, it's a little different to what we've seen in the past. So GHDs are being brought into play.
Ooh.
Rope climbs are being brought into play, which is brought in a couple of years ago in the teens and masters.
Yep.
So I think we're going to see some really almost regional style workouts coming out. We're going to see ring muscle ups. We're going to see strict handstand push-ups. We're going to see pistols. We're going to see handstand walking.
Yep.
We're going to see that GHD. We're going to see legless rope climbs. And I think it's going to be phenomenal. We've got plans for quarterfinal week.
Good, bring it up. I thought I was gonna bring that up, so perfect. Our plan of attack for quarterfinal weekend is to head out to CrossFit Selwyn, their new little setup. I don't want to reveal too much.
Ranch.
Yeah, the ranch. Can't wait. And we're gonna hang out with the crew out there, and Bailey Martin,
Crispy boy.
he might be, aka Crispy Boy, might be swinging by as well. And our plan of attack is kind of do a bit of a behind the scenesy style for that whole
just
weekend.
do something a little bit different. We've done the recap show for 3 weeks. We want to have a bit of fun and play a different kind of role within the video. Stand back, let the athletes take a bit more of a center stage, get us off the microphone a little bit, because it is a little bit a little bit taxing on the throat talking for this long. I'm not really used to it, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it'll be fun to dive a bit deeper in terms of finding out more about these athletes, see how they perform throughout the whatever may come. And it'll be cool to just go on that journey with them and take you along for the ride. So hopefully that sounds like your cup of tea, and hopefully you come along, check it out.
Yeah, so let's cut this short because Rizz has got a job with the Tactics netball team, Canterbury, and he's got to get out of here ASAP Rocky. So let's look down the lens that we never looked down.
That we are recording this time.
And we're not, the camera was not on last time. And we're not going to see you next week, but we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the BTS at the ranch with the Selwyn boys and Crispy Boy. See you guys soon.
Keep it crispy.